Run a Google search for Marvel villain problem, and see what you get. Whether it's listicles arguing on behalf of actually great antagonists or essays on how specific Marvel films fixed the franchise's so-called villain problem, here's Vox arguing for Thor, Ragnarok and Birth. Movies. Death. Rip. Preaching the gospel of Avengers, Infinity War. Critics and fans alike agree that Marvel does, in fact, have a habit of paper-thin villains who are little more than just opposites of the title hero. Admittedly, there's truth to it. Many villains in the Marvel Cinematic Universe have failed to make an impression that stays with you after the end credits. Quick, now without Googling, can you name the villain of Thor, The Dark World? Or Ant-Man and the Wasp? Still, there are exceptions. Tom Hiddleston's scene-chewing Loki and Hugo Weaving's note-perfect Red Skull were both Phase 1 baddies. Phase 2 had James Spader in the voice of Ultron, keep your friends rich and your enemies rich, and wait to find out which is which, and Ben Kingsley in a killer performance of the deeply problematic Mandarin in Iron Man 3. And Phase 3 was ruled by Josh Brolin's Thanos, an alien warlord with pathos who became an unexpected sex symbol. But whether you still believe Marvel has a villain problem or not, there's one thing we should all acknowledge now. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier just showed how to retroactively fix it. Bazon ZemoDaniel Brühl returns as Zemo in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Marvel Studios in the third episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Helmut Zemo, Daniel Burhl, returns to the MCU 5 years since his last appearance in 2016's Captain America, Civil War. Instead of plotting to tear the Avengers apart, Zemo chooses to help Sam, Anthony Mackie, and Bucky, Sebastian Stan. Why? Because, as Zemo puts it, do we want to live in a world full of people like the Red Skull? He says that while sitting plush in his private jet while sipping champagne. When Zemo first appeared in the MCU, he was a family man who lost everything to the Avengers' collateral damage in Sokovia. In Civil War, he plotted to tear the Avengers apart by using Bucky, who assassinated Stark's parents in 1991, and framing the murder of Wakanda's King T'Chaka on him. Though Zemo ended Civil War behind bars, his plans still worked. The Avengers did split, which left Earth defenseless when Thanos arrived with his army. Zemo was by no means a weak villain. Though he had no actual powers, his drive and determination made him impossibly inhuman. He could not stand toe-to-toe with any of the Avengers, which is why it's brilliant he made them fight each other. But Zemo's latest hour is proof of how the MCU can fix villains, even if some don't need fixing in the first place.